Hello there today, all my Bad Raven fans. This is a great day for video reviews because I'm reviewing a great science fiction movie from the 80s, 1984 to be exact. And that screenshot there is of the Terminator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And today we're going to do this review, so strap yourself in. The Bad Raven is here today and wants the flock to know that we are going to do a great review of the Terminator, because this is one of the most pivotal movies in Bad Raven's history of 1984 to be exact. That we're going to do a review of a movie that's really resonated with me at a very young age, and I can't wait to get into this movie because it has everything I love about movies in it. It's got action, it's got adventure, it's got drama, it's got comedy. Well, maybe not comedy, drama, I don't know. But anyway, you get the point. We're going to talk about this movie because it's going to be a spoiler movie review because, hey, Terminator, it's been around since 1984, so here we go. This movie was written by James Cameron and Gail Hurd and directed by James Cameron. When he came up with the story for this movie, James Cameron had a dream, he said. And in his dream, he dreamed of a endoskeleton metal machine coming through the fire with a red glowing eyes. So he sat down and started writing a story from that dream alone to make what has become today the Terminator. I'm sorry I'm blocking the picture, but I'll be posting pictures of the cast and everything as I go through this. But anyway, James Cameron's vision was of the future machines out there that end up controlling the world. I think it's in 2029 where the machine actually sends back a Terminator to retroactively kill the mother of the resistance that's going to kill him, the machine, which is by Skynet. But this movie is just more than, it's even more than that. It is it created a cultural icon with the Terminator, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger's most famous role that made him a star. I know he had done Conan the Barbarian before these movies, and he was on the rise as it went. But this movie really set him apart and made him a movie star that he is today. And as a child, I always wanted to be in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie because I always loved his movies growing up. I wanted to be the son of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I even lifted weights. I even tried to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger when I grew up because he was a very good role model, and I liked everything about it. So that aside, let's talk about the movie here. This is set in 1980s, which is, my time period. And the Bad Raven loves. It's set back in the 80s, and you see Sarah Connor. She is a regular working woman, and she's trying to do like everybody else does in the 80s, just make a living. She's like a waitress, and she gets confronted with a very daunting task in this movie. She doesn't know it, but she is going to be the future mother of the John Connor, who's going to lead the resistance against the machines and destroy them. See, the machines, what they do is in the future, they take over all the military activities of the government, and they set off a nuclear war because they want to just kill all the humans that are controlling them. So they become self-aware, and they end up losing the battle in the future. And they have to send back, they learn how to do time travel evidently somewhere in the future. But they end up sending a Terminator back, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, back to kill her so John Connor is never born and he will never ever be able to destroy the machines. So in the future when this happened, they have been defeated, so that's the last ditch resort for the computer to do, is to send out the Terminators. But the Resistance get there in time, and they send a lone warrior, someone to protect Sarah in the 80s, and that's Kyle Reese. And he is played by Michael Biehn. Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator, and Linda Hamilton is Sarah Connor. That's your main stars. And he comes back at the same time Arnold does. They both don't, the Michael Biehn character of Kyle Reese has a picture that was given by John Connor in the future, so he kind of knows what she looks like. The Terminator knows nothing, so he systematically finds the phone book and finds 3 Sarah Connors on there, and he systematically kills the first 2 because he's going to wipe every Sarah Connor out that's in that vicinity because he knows one of them's the right one. So he gets the first 2. By then she finds out through a newscast that there's somebody killing Sarah Connor. So she gets scared. She calls the police. She says she's being followed, but she doesn't know at the time it's Kyle Reese is the good guy. So they tell her to go in a public place. She goes into like a dance place, and while she's in there, she sees Kyle Reese in there also. She starts freaking out, but actually the Terminator actually comes in too, because he has already killed her roommate, and he's already heard where she's located, and he's coming to get her at the, I think it's Technor Club, whatever. So he comes in at the same time. Of course, you get the major fight scene of your life as they both, Kyle Reese and the Terminator, do battle right there amongst all the people. And the Terminator's got his Uzi 9mm, and Kyle Reese has got his shotgun, and they have it out right there in the place, and people get killed left and right. He blows the Terminator out the front window. He sticks out his hands to Sarah and says, "Come with me if you want to live." And she goes with him. And the rest is set. So you get on a roller coaster ride from that part on until the very end of this movie. It has great special effects for the time because it was a low budget movie. It was hardly any budget. Way James Cameron talks about it, they had to go like guerrilla style and go out and film some scenes on the street with the Terminator, trying to find the Sarah Connor and all that, and he was having to jerk out his camera and just like tell Arnold to action and just kind of film it because they didn't have permits to film in those places, so they had to do what they could to film. So he had to do every trick in the book to make this movie look as good as it did with the lowest budget that it had. It was able to get great shots, even of the future landscape and of the Terminator special effects, considering the budget limitations. And that James Cameron has a way of being able to squeeze every dollar out of the budget to get what he wants, and he has great actors. There's another actor in this, Lance Henriksen. He's in it, and he was going to be the original Terminator that he wanted to play, the guy that played the Terminator. Lance is also the one that's in Aliens, which is another James Cameron film, and he was the one that played Bishop, the artificial person. Well, James Cameron had planned to use him as the Terminator when he was doing his first drawings and stuff of the Terminator, because he wanted to be like in a stealth mode, like you wouldn't be able to tell that he was somebody that would kill you. But they ended up later on changing that to like the tank that is Arnold Schwarzenegger to be the killer, even though he would be more obvious as called he's big muscle-bound guy, that he kind of wanted Arnold to be like an older model Terminator, and that he would be the bigger, bulkier one. And then like later on, they'd slim them down. Like as the Terminators were being manufactured, as they got better and better technology, they would be able to slim them down. But in this movie, the Terminator, they were only able to have a big bulky version, which is Arnold. And Reese talks about like some of the newer ones in the future when he fought them had rubber skin and everything, but this one was new. It had bad breath, everything. Also, another tidbit about the Terminator, James Cameron didn't want it to be called The Terminator. He wanted it to be called Terminator, because then it just said the name of the character, and he didn't want the in front of it. But the studio wanted the, so he had to go with it because he was a new filmmaker, and he couldn't really go against the studio's wishes because he's just starting out. So a lot of directors don't get that final cut. But I do like the taglines on these movies, and because he's a killing machine, he doesn't feel pity, he doesn't feel remorse, and all he doesn't want to do is kill you. If you're the one he wants to terminate, he will kill you, then not stop doing it. So I've collected some DVD and a Blu-ray of this over the years. This is the first one. This is a special edition from MGM UA. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Terminator. awesome looking. You know, everybody loves that cover. Let me set this other one down. Inside, I think it has the widescreen and the full screen on it. That's why there's no discard, because it was supposed to be flipped over for each side. Back, I don't know if you can see that, it's so dark, but anyway, this is a great DVD. Now this one is the Blu-ray I've got it, and I don't think this is the new transfer of it. It's probably one of the older transfers, but I've got this is the only one I think I got on Blu-ray besides the Terminator 2 and stuff. I got Terminator 2 and 3 and Salvation and Genesis, all of them, but this one was one I added to my collection. Basic cover, everything. But anyway, getting back, I didn't want to get into the whole movie because it's action-packed. I could go into detail on each one of the scenes, but it has a great ending. It's got a great one-liners by all. Arnold Schwarzenegger's got the best of them, and especially the "I'll be back." I mean, which he kind of did on the fly. When he was filming the movie, they had another scene in it, and he just stuck it in there, and it's stuck ever since. So he's got so many, and her, Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton's line at the very end, and you know which one I'm talking about. She says a great line about him being terminated, so watch that part, because it's really cool. It has everything you want in action and sci-fi and fantasy. Everything is there. Check it out, and I know you've already probably checked it out, but go back and watch it again, because it's a great movie. But also I want to tell you that on the page we got a few more things on the side of the page. Now on my home page, it's got the my Amazon account there, my wish list is on there, and it also got the PayPal donation button on there. If you want to donate to the Bad Raven to help me get some better equipment to help the channel out, would be great. If you want to do that, I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's just some new things added to the page I learned how to do, and I've been trying to add more stuff to the videos to make them more professional. So I hope you enjoy the improvements. And remember that the Bad Raven is your friend, and we appreciate every view that we get here. And we're going to let you go, through this video is probably running long, and we say thank you for watching, and goodbye.